Judicial Watch is protecting your rights by opposing this woke racism that would divide and destroy this country based on race. Something else happened this week that's important that the Justice Department did in a great way. They have intervened or moved to intervene in Judicial Watch's historic class action civil rights lawsuit against a reparations policy in Evanston, Illinois. You may recall Judicial Watch is representing individuals in Illinois who can't get money from this reparations scheme because they're not black. Yes, you heard that correctly. There is a government that's actually giving money. Think about this on June 19th. There's a government out there that's discriminating on the basis of race, giving out checks to $25,000 in cash to people based on the color of their skin only. So if you're a black individual and otherwise meet the criteria, which, by the way, doesn't include being discriminated against, it's just the color of your skin and whether or not a family member lived in this town during a certain amount of time. So you don't even have to be, it could have been like your great-grandfather or something, and you get this reparation. And so Judicial Watch had sued in federal court, and recently the court allowed the case to go forward, and it's the only reparations program that's in operation in the sense of giving cash out. And as a result of Judicial Watch's lawsuit, all the other reparation schemes are kind of circling and are on hold as they wait to see how this is handled. And so it was good news that the Justice Department Civil Rights Division, which is run by our friend Harmeet Dillon, with the authorization of the Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, authorized the attempt to intervene in this lawsuit. So the lawsuit's out in the Northern District of Illinois, and the government filed its brief, I think their motion to intervene on Tuesday. The Justice Department's proposed complaint is an intervention, names the City of Evanston as a defendant, and alleges that the program violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. The Justice Department also alleges the program violates the Fair Housing Act. I guess because there are parts of the reparations program talk about helping people build houses and mortgages and things like that, even though they just hand out cash and you're not required to spend it in any particular way. The United States asserts that it has an unconditional right to intervene under Section 902 of the Civil Rights Act, which allows the Attorney General to intervene in cases alleging the denial of equal protection of the laws on account of race when the case is certified to be of general public importance. According to the filing, the Acting Attorney General has certified that this case is of general public importance. The Justice Department notes in its filing that Judicial Watch's plaintiffs do not oppose, so we didn't oppose them coming in. The City of Evanston did. So the Justice Department moved to intervene. Judicial Watch, on behalf of its clients, our lawyers didn't object, but the lawyers for the City of Evanston objected. So there's going to be a fight over whether the Justice Department can intervene to protect American citizens from being discriminated against under the Constitution. As I noted in our press release, the Justice Department is right to join our fight against Evanston's blatantly unconstitutional reparations scheme. Evanston hands out $25,000 in government payments to blacks only, and the Constitution flatly forbids this kind of racial discrimination. We're happy that the United States is following our lead and welcome it as an ally in this historic lawsuit against the woke racist program. So this is just a great validation of our work and your support for Judicial Watch. So I've always said this is an historic lawsuit because it's the first reparations scheme of note that actually has seen money go out the door. Other reparation schemes are waiting for this to be litigated before they move forward in large measure. And we've been on the tip of the spear going after this issue. This is where the left kind of exposes its true nature, where they pretend to be against racial discrimination, but actually practice it in blatant contravention of federal civil rights statutes and the U.S. Constitution. And I want you to kind of think about the phrase equal protection under the law. That's in the 14th Amendment. You can't be denied equal protection of the law based on race. The left does not agree with that. So we fought the Civil War to essentially enshrine that principle into the Constitution, and the left rejects it. They want to deny you rights based on your race. They want to deny you protections based on your race. It's not the right that wants to do that. It is the left that wants to do that. Now, are there rightists who want to do that? Probably. But in terms of like general discussions among ideological opponents, the left versus right here in the United States at least, it's the left that wants to racialize law, engage in segregation, discrimination, and it's conservatives that want to protect the rule of law, protect the civil rights of everyone. It's cases like this that show, in actuality, despite what you hear about the NAACP, despite what you hear about the ACLU, Judicial Watch is America's leading civil rights organization. We're protecting your civil rights when it comes to elections, not having your votes stolen, diluted, and basically made a mockery of by unlawful election administration. And Judicial Watch is protecting your rights by opposing this woke racism that would divide and destroy this country based on race. And indeed, that's why the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, under new leadership, Harmeet Dillon, under the leadership of now Todd Blanche and the president, obviously, they're not going to play this leftist game. Because for decades, even through Republican administrations, the Justice Department was on the side of the left in terms of mandating discrimination under the cover of law. So I don't know about you. I oppose reparations. In theory, is it possible to get a reparation for government misconduct or abuse? Yes. That's why the left went ballistic when President Trump put forward the victims' lawfare compensation scheme. That was a reparations program in part, right? Someone was abused, they could document the abuse and get reparations. In the 1940s, when Japanese Americans, citizens, were put into camps, internment camps, they received reparations. It was a specific abuse and they got compensation. In Illinois, what's going on is that they're saying there was discrimination in a kind of vague way back in the 50s and 60s, or who knows when, with respect to housing. And as a result, people who were residents then and the ancestors of residents or descendants of residents can get cash without having to prove they were actually discriminated against. So yeah, there could be some lawful reparations depending on the circumstances. This isn't it. So I'll let you know what happens next, or when something big happens next, because I'm sure they'll be fighting about whether the Justice Department can intervene, and I'm sure that's going to delay the resolution. But in the end, I don't see how this survives, this reparations scheme. I think they either end it or the court ends it for them. Either they end it and say, oh, the writing's on the wall, we're going to end it, or the court says, based on all the evidence, and it's resolved in a way favorable to Judicial Watch and the United States government, meaning you, the American people. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.